All right, I think we're live. Fix the screens here. What's up, everybody? Welcome. And this is a story that I covered a while back when this mysterious suitcase appeared, and at the time, unidentified child was inside. And this story is kind of all over the place because it's not just a mother that was wanted, but also a friend of the mother. Apparently, both of them helped out to do what they did to this child. And the mother appeared in court yesterday. Sorry, I think yesterday, Tuesday. And she's kind of quacked out. Mama says that I guess she's claiming to be a sovereign citizen. I'm a princess representing the entity of, what did they say here? That she's a princess and has been under surveillance by Space Force. She wants to represent herself. And we kind of have to go down. I thought the best place to start would be this probable cause affidavit that has kind of the timeline and details before we watch the video. But I remember back then covering this. It's crazy now because Mama went on the run. Probable cause affidavit for arrest. On the evening of Saturday, April 16, 2022, Jeffrey Meredith called 911 and reported finding a body of a young black male in a suitcase in the woods off Holder Road in southeastern Washington County. Meredith stated he was mushroom hunting on his property located on the south side of the road and had crossed over to the property that runs along north side Holder Road. Holder Road is a dead-end road. However, the road is not marked as a dead end. When Meredith saw the suitcase, which was not covered and could be viewed from the roadway, he approached it and opened it. Inside, he located a pillow on a closed black trash bag. He ripped open the trash bag and found what he described as a young black male child. Washington County Deputy Matt Hain was the first on scene and approached and manipulated the suitcase and trash bag to confirm that it contained the body of a young black male. I arrived on scene at approximately 9:40 p.m. and was briefed by Sergeant David Mitchell and was walked around to the east side of the scene to view the suitcase. Let me show you, let's just sidestep for a second. I want to show you a video of the guy, he did an interview, the guy that found the body. By the way, this person right here, this is the mother's friend that pled guilty and helped whatever they did to this child.
Tonight, this mother of a little boy who was found dead stuffed inside a suitcase is under arrest. She's waiting to be brought back to Indiana.
That's the suitcase, by the way.
The arrest came nearly 2 years after a mushroom hunter in southern Indiana made the disturbing discovery. And now tonight, we're hearing from that man for the first time since police arrested Dejaune Anderson.
Alyssa Newton from our sister station in Louisville tonight shares his story.
First looking back,
the story began with Jeff.
It still hurts just as bad today as it did 2 years ago. You know?
He's the mushroom hunter who found the young boy in a suitcase on his property.
A fellow shouldn't be treated that way. Ever.
He still keeps up with every update, especially last week's announcement.
You can run, girl, but you can't hide. And now she's got to answer to all the bad things she's done in her life.
In Salem, Indiana, the small town at the heart of a story that's played out for over the last 2 years. Seasons change, but sentiments stay the same. It's in this part of rural Washington County, back in 2022, where Cairo Jordan, a young boy, was found dead in a suitcase.
It's still a sorrowful and a somber moment.
But Friday marked the start of a new chapter.
I had a really good feeling.
Watching the press conference on his phone, it's the news Jeff Meredith had been praying for.
Investigators apprehended Dejaune Anderson last night without incident in Arcadia, California.
After months of hiding from police, an anonymous tip led officers to Cairo's mother.
I was happy, but yet excited, and yet beside myself.
She faces felony charges of murder, neglect of a dependent resulting in death, and obstruction of justice, all in connection with the death of her son.
We did know that this day was going to come.
And that's when I run over and told Cairo at his gravesite.
Flowers and toys still wrap around the little boy's headstone, a spot he's come to many times before.
In my heart, I adopted him as my own. In my heart. And that means a lot to me.
A place where after all this time, many continue to show love for a child they never met. A love that knows no bounds.
But my community that I live in came together and helped an innocent soul that they had no idea who he was and took care of him. Loved him the way he needed to be loved before his death.
This story is still being written. Officers are currently in the process of bringing Anderson back to Washington County. Jeff says
Oh, absolutely.
he'll be watching every moment.
I've got to make sure that justice is really served.
And while there's no guarantee on how this story will end, Jeff knows in his heart how his will.
That makes me happy, knowing that I'm going to die someday, and I'm going to get to speak to that little feller. And I'm going to tell him everything that Washington County done for him.
In Salem.
And why they did.
Alyssa Newton.
Let me just show you a picture of Cairo. Oh, I don't know why it's saved like that. It's kind of Windows is being funny. Let me try this one. Okay, this works. A picture here. I believe he was 5 at the time. I remember covering this story a long time ago. I can't even find it. It was just kind of shocking, boy in the suitcase. It was dubbed because at the time there was no identity. And nobody knew where the mother was at, just gone. Let's see if I can find it. Cairo. And to now finally have an update. And she's caught. Damn, bro. When I last covered this was October 26, 2022. And actually have so. And actually went over the probable cause affidavit too over there at that time, I think, as well. See, I did. I think it was smaller back then, but yeah, I did cover this back then. So, all right, let's continue, and then we'll watch her in court. So the mushroom hunter finds the suitcase and a body. It says, I then spoke with the resident who lives on Holder Road. His residence is covered by video security with one camera focused on the end of the driveway, which also captures a portion of Holder Road below his home, closer to an area where the suitcase was discovered. He voluntarily gave us the hard drive to the security system. After the scene was photographed, the suitcase was closed and placed in a bag supplied by the Washington County coroner. The bag was secured and transported April 17. Autopsy was conducted. On April 19th, they did a lab analysis, transported the black trash bag located within the scene to the state lab police for fingerprint testing and analysis. June 29, 2022, was contacted by Mallory Webb, the forensic scientist, who stated she had obtained fingerprints matching from 2 of the trash bags located in the suitcase, and Dejaune Anderson, that's the mother. The match came back. On July 25th, 2022, I was contacted by Mallory Webb, the forensic scientist, who stated that she had obtained a second fingerprint match from the black trash bag and Dawn Elaine Coleman. Okay, so these ladies left their fingerprints on the trash bags. Now, just a sidestep, just a little second, this is what she looks like here. Looks like death in hell. So, but she had pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit murder. Okay. So both of their fingerprints came up on these trash bags. I discovered that Dejaune Anderson is the owner of Ashley Logistics Corporation. So she has a business. The Georgia Corporation's divisions list the registered agent for Ashley Logistics is Dejaune Anderson with the physical address of, and Dejaune is listed as the CEO, and the child victim is listed as a secretary for the business. So on March 12th, mom was arrested. Anderson was charged with child endangerment, speeding over the limit, speeding over 25 miles an hour, failure to stop. That was March 25th. Okay, so just to keep in mind the timeline, so we're kind of going back right now because right now we're talking about April 17, 2022, the body was found. But before the body was found, we have March 12th, 2022, where she was arrested for speeding and charged with child endangerment because I guess the kid was in the car. South Carolina Highway Patrol attempted to stop Anderson for driving 92 miles an hour in a 60. Anderson did not stop, proceeded to lead troops on a pursuit lasting approximately 30 miles before she ran out of gas. She was driving a 2019 Dodge Challenger, bearing a Georgia plate of whatever, returning to her business. In the vehicle with the mother was her friend, Dawn Elaine Coleman, and the child. Anderson stated that Coleman was her sister. When the vehicle came to a stop, neither Anderson nor Coleman listened to commands and would not open the doors. Troopers had to breach the back driver's side window to make entry to the vehicle. Coleman was transported with the child to a Hilton hotel and given information on how to contact Anderson. So I guess they were being nice. Maybe they should have taken that kid at that point. March 31st, 2022, Dejaune Anderson was arrested by the Louisville Metro Police Department for robbery, second degree, outside of Von Moore at Oxmoor Mall, located on the 7900 Shelby Road in Louisville, Jefferson County, Kentucky. The reports state that during this incident, Anderson was stopped by mall security. She exited the store due to loss prevention, witnessing her conceal clothing items in a bag. When stopped, Anderson became violent and punched a security officer in the face. Wow. While in custody at the Jefferson County, Kentucky jail, Anderson made 2 calls to a woman who was believed to be Dawn Coleman. Coleman told Anderson, "We are okay. We'll be staying at her cousin's house or place. The name is Vera." So they do search warrants, and they do search warrants on the Facebook accounts utilized by the mother and the friend, Coleman. And so on December 5th, 2021, Dejaune Anderson sent the following message on her Facebook account: "The Sony Michelle with the vanity name Katu Katu. My son's name is blank. On or about December 5th, 2021, Dejaune Anderson sent the following message on her Facebook account: I offer reversal spell, protection spell, activating your DNA, exorcism, hex/curse. On or about January 5th, 2022, Dawn Coleman made the following post on her Facebook account: Ank Bella 7, the vanity name Ank Kek. I'm using my blood for this ritual. And I'm thinking, I don't know. I wonder what that child was going through all that time. Were they practicing and doing rituals on this kid? I don't know. On or about February 19, 2022, Dejaune Anderson made the following posted. The following status. Let's see here. Can't wait to tell my story. I had to raise my frequency, heal myself and past lives, heal my ancestors, heal. I don't know what they meant to say there. Is that? I don't know. Heal something in the universe. Heal Gaia to exorcism, a very powerful demonic force within my son. Had people in in enough alignment with their soul to assist me. Still, I choose my soul and was able to completely heal myself and remove paradigms from my mind. I know you can choose your soul with no questions asked. I don't know what the hell going on. March 15, the mother makes the following post on her Facebook account. Stop getting caught up in the vessels of this realm. You guys get caught up with how old the body is. If they adult and kids, etc., don't even know it's a full-grown demon in the child body telling you what to do because you didn't choose your soul. Better start using your third eye. On March 18, 2022, the mother makes the following post. You have to use your magic for everything. We have transitioned to living in the now. If you still have trauma that is unhealed, you are creating resistance for us that are healed. Blank with your frequency, or I guess F with your frequency. Stop with this low vibrational movement. On March 18th, the mother makes more posts and says, can't wait to tell this story about the exorcism, about a book about living with a demonic child, and a podcast on some Ruby Frankish shit, I guess. Can't wait to tell this story about the exorcism. And she says that exorcism. I wonder how long he was dead. Maybe he was already dead. A book about living with a demonic child and a podcast. On April 4th, 2022, Dawn, so this is the friend now, she made a Facebook post. Don't let the avatars fool you. There is a face under it. If you need to see some, have souls, some don't. Evil and wicked is hiding in plain sight. Must keep rising, AKMG. Now on April 8th, Dawn. Just because the avatar is of what we call a child does not mean that it is actually a child. There are beings that are here that are not supposed to be here, that pick avatars to hide behind, to play roles, to steal energy, and to ruin lives. Sorry about that. Just got to buzz these people in. Okay. And I'm wondering at this point, are they talking? Is she trying to like their crazy mind, or they're saying like this child is not who he is, that he's being controlled by something else, and so his face is not his face; it's an avatar, but behind it is really a demon. I really don't even know who has time to concoct this shit. Like, I guess they don't have jobs or to form an income. How do you have time to like do all this? I don't know. And then is it mental health, right? The umbrella of mental health, because now this woman's in court wanting to represent herself, and she looked crazy. Her friend looked crazy too. And where's dad? No dad, I guess. I don't know. Okay. So to steal energy and to ruin lives, you better check to see if children that you think are children actually have souls, or if they're not malevolent beings with a soul and in a child avatar. Yeah, so they like literally looking at this child as not a child. It's a demon pretending to be a child. Don't be fooled. Don't be deceived. Magic is real. Curses are real. And there are some very powerful evil beings there that will curse your womb and then some. Nothing is what it seems, and we are catering to evil beings and children avatars that aren't even children. Y'all need to rise. Most will be wiped out because of your... All right, we get it. This thing's so loud. We're catering to evil beings and children avatars that aren't even children. Y'all need to rise. Most won't. Most will be wiped out because of your demons, and this paradigm has no room for that. AKMG. Bro. Ooh, Murky says he has a dad. He came forward when they found him. Okay. Gia says I don't have a job, but I'm not crazy. I don't understand how people go down this far. I mean, I guess I should look at society now. Look at the shit that I've had to deal with these crazy people online. I guess maybe this is the mentality of those people. And what's interesting about this too is the crazy projection of these two women, right? Talking about what's demonic and what's not. Where's the other lady? Because the other lady looked crazy too. Something wrong with them. Talking about what's evil and good and demons hiding and blah blah blah. Projection to the max. They're the demons, saying that this child's a demon. All right. What else did these people say? April 10th, Don, the friend, made another post and said most of the children aren't really even children. At that, just an avatar playing a character. On April 11th, the mother posted, she was released from jail. Just typical, do all kinds of crazy shit. Released. I mean, I don't know how long. I guess they couldn't hold her for long. I would just think that if you're in a vehicle driving like a lunatic in a high-speed chase pursuit, you have a child in the back seat, you're not complying, you've run out of gas, you still don't want to open the door, they have to break the back window to yank your ass out, and somehow you still keep the child? They never took the child at any point to do an investigation? I don't know. All right. So Mama's love, on April 11th, she's let out. On April 11th, after being made out, she posts on Facebook, just got out of a jail mission. Yes, had to do some healing and killing. What? On April 12th, Dejaune Anderson made the following updated status on her public Twitter account. She got Twitter too. Good day, sir. I need to speak with you urgently. I have survived the death attacks from my 5-year-old throughout the 5 years he has been alive. I have been able to weaken his powers through our blood. I have his real name, and he is 100 years old. Need assistance. So they obtained a search warrant, AT&T, and historical data. I determined that these two numbers were used by Anderson and Coleman, two phone numbers, based on prior arrest records, as well as additional search warrant information obtained from the Hilton Worldwide Holdings regarding their hotel reservations. On April 14, 2022, between 4:30 p.m. and 5:15 p.m., the historical cell tower location data places Anderson and Coleman's phones in the area of Holder Road. Okay, so April 14. So they're talking about all this demon shit, demonic stuff. Maybe at the time the child was still alive. God knows what Cairo was going through. And it almost reminds me of Letitia Stalk, I think. Somewhat, I don't know. It reminds me of so many different perpetrators. Okay, so their cell phones pinged to where this mushroom harvester farmer found the suitcase. Pecan, Indiana, where the suitcase was found. On April 14, video surveillance obtained from the resident of Holder Road shows a vehicle coming into the view on Holder Road in Indiana at approximately 4:53 p.m. The vehicle appears to stop on Holder Road in the area where the suitcase was found with the child. The video does not show this vehicle continuing to the dead end area of Holder Road. And so on April 15, the mother, I cannot believe this shit. On April 15, she made a post. This is a whole demon in a child body. Why do you think she need a cigarette. Losing energy, huh? 64 years old in a child body. Was full of gifts and magical rights, stronger than many of you because your frequency not high enough. Start asking spirit to reveal these things to you hiding behind a body. On April 16, the same day police were alerted of the discovery of the suitcase and the identified body, Dejaune Anderson's 2019 Dodge Challenger bearing the Georgia plate, so on and so forth, is captured by Riverlink's camera driving by the I-65 over the bridge from Jefferson, Indiana to Louisville, Kentucky at approximately 8:16 p.m. A review of the mother's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter shows pictures of a boy approximately 5 years old that matches the pictures taken of the unidentified body of the child during the autopsy. They reviewed the friend's Facebook and Instagram accounts as well. Shows pictures and videos of her with the same Las Vegas suitcase that the child was found in. Okay. July 8th, they obtained a birth certificate of the child. The child was born in the Northside Hospital in Atlanta, Georgia. And so I think this mother is going to have a hard time representing herself, but apparently that's what she wants to do right now in court. This was her first court appearance.
Clause number 88C01-2210-F1-833, State of Indiana versus Dejaune Anderson. Ms. Anderson, for the record, would you state your full name, please?
Yes, I am Princess Califia Hatan Tupac II, representing the entity Dejaune Anderson.
You're known as Dejaune Anderson?
I'm representing the entity as Dejaune Anderson.
And your date of birth?
My date of birth is February 2nd, 1961.
That would make you how old?
That would make me 63 years old.
And the last four digits, your social security number?
I do not have a social security number. I have a declaration of nationality underneath the Washita Moors of the indigenous people.
Oh my gosh. So when she's talking about that Moors, I don't want to be like nasty or mean. I've just, there's not many, I don't think there's never been one time I've seen a decent person that's like a sovereign citizen. There's usually like, either they're just kind of like hostile or nasty from what I've seen. I'm not saying they're all like that, but they seem to be like quacked out. And so I guess she's a part of that. Maybe that has nothing to do with this. Maybe there's some mental problems going on here.
Dejaune Anderson?
I'm representing the entity as Dejaune Anderson.
She's like, yeah, I'm not Dejaune Anderson, but I'm representing the entity of Dejaune Anderson.
And your date of birth?
My date of birth is February 2nd, 1961.
And that would make you how old?
That would make me 63 years old.
And the last four digits, your social security number?
I do not have a social security number. I have a declaration of nationality underneath the Washita Moors of the indigenous people of the United Nations, Chapter 221593.
What's your address?
My address is
So I guess you don't have to pay taxes. I guess that's the benefits of that. Daddy B. I'm canceling everything. I'm
Contact telephone number?
I don't know my contact number by heart. I believe it's.
Are you under the influence of any drugs, including alcohol today?
No, I'm not.
You read and understand the English language?
Yes, I do.
If I say something you don't understand, will you let me know?
I will.
She does. Somebody said, can she share her skincare though, right? She does. She does look good for her age. She don't look like 60 something.
Most definitely will.
Sanderson. Officer Music, who's investigated this, looked for you for the past 2 years. And Prosecutor Hunt have charged
You see the look in her face when he said, "We've been looking for you for 2 years." The officer, she's like, "No."
Officer Busick, who's investigated this, and looked for you for the past 2 years. And prosecutor
Really? She's rolling her eyes.
Hunt have charged you with 3 counts of criminal conduct. Count 1 is murder as a felony.
Sorry, guys. The audio.
Would indicate that between April the 10th, 2022 and April the 16th, 2022
Pink handcuffs? Is that a new thing?
in Washington County, state of Indiana, you
Did the normal silver handcuffs get canceled? Like, maybe it was,
did knowingly or intentionally kill another human being, that being child victim number 1, contrary to the form of the statute in such cases made and provided by Indiana Code 35-42-1-1, parentheses 1, and against the peace and dignity of the state of Indiana. Count 2, neglect of a dependent resulting in death as a level 1 felony, would indicate between December the 1st, 2021 and April the 16th, 2022 in Washington County, state of Indiana, you being at least 18 years of age and having the care of child victim 1, a dependent, less than 14 years of age, did knowingly place said dependent in a situation that endangered the dependent's life or health and which resulted in the death of child victim number 1. Count 3, obstruction of justice as a level 6 felony, would indicate that between April the 10th, 2022 and April the 16th, 2022 in Washington County, state of Indiana, you did alter, damage, or remove a record, document, or thing with the intent to prevent said item from being produced or used as evidence in a legal proceeding or an administrative or criminal investigation, contrary to the form of the statutes made and such case provided. The murder, a felony, has a range of imprisonment from 45 years to 65 years, with the advisory sentence being 55 years and up to a $10,000 fine. The level 1 felony, neglect of a dependent resulting in death, has a range of imprisonment from 20 years to 40 years, with the advisory sentence being 30 years and up to a $10,000 fine. And the level 6 felony has a range of imprisonment of no time in jail if it's treated as a misdemeanor.
I know Laura said this bit is 38. I think it's the princess's entity that's 63. Yeah, can we confirm that? Is she really 60 something, or is she trying to like pretend she's something else and that's her?
The 2.5 years at the Indiana Department of Corrections, with the advisory sentence being 1 year and up to a $10,000 fine. Do you understand what you've been charged with?
I do understand.
Okay. And do you understand the potential penalties?
I do.
Do you intend to hire a lawyer, or is someone likely to hire a lawyer for you?
I want to file a motion for self-representation.
Okay, I'll watch the trial.
You understand if you do that, you are required to conduct yourself as a lawyer to be able to board our potential jurors, to abide by the rules of evidence, to abide by the rules of procedure.
Yeah, online it says she's 38. Fox 59 says she's 38, so I don't know if that's her other being, because I don't think I don't know. I don't know what that means, bro. Yeah, she knows 60 something. Her entity is 63? Wow. Okay.
I understand. I have a master's in history.
That doesn't give you a law degree, though.
But I do understand how to read procedures and understand the court procedures.
All right. Just because
Oh, yo, did you see this chick's face? If this really goes to trial, I don't know if they're gonna have to test if she's competent enough. I can't believe this. After I don't know how many years, 2 years showing up, your kid's dead, murdered, and she's here with sass, no remorse, having attitude, and gonna represent herself.
doesn't give you a law degree, though.
but I do understand how to read procedures and understand the court procedures.
All right. Just because you represent yourself doesn't ensure yourself of a good lawyer, you know.
That's a personal opinion, but I understand.
Make your request in writing. Okay.
I will, most definitely.
Uh,
Can you give me at least just like 5 days and I could get it to you?
I can certainly give you 5 days to do that. I think what my intention would be, let me ask you this. Can you afford a lawyer?
It's not that I can't afford a lawyer, it's that I want to do self-representation due to, I understand the nature of my case, and I understand that this is my life on the line, and I do understand that there are things that involve my case as far as the evidence that I hold, which is Q classified evidence, which should be turned over to Judge Advocate General Courts immediately, if possible. Because my case involves other cases that are open currently with Judge Advocate General Courts, as well as federal investigations that are open.
Well, if the Judge Advocate General approaches us, we'll address it at that point in time.
Okay.
How about I appoint you standby counsel?
Oh, no, thank you.
No, thank you.
Wow. Even a no thank you on that. Because I let me look it up. I thought the standby counsel is like, if you run into ish, you know, somebody to kind of help you out, guide you a little bit, or if you need something, you have questions, something like that. She said no. Standby counsel or advisory counsel refers to a lawyer who assists a client who has invoked their right to self-representation. If the client becomes disruptive or otherwise unable to conduct in his own defense, the judge may order the standby counsel to take over. So maybe she doesn't even want that possibility to, like, okay, well, you can send this person, you know, in case she starts messing up. But I would think that, like, she probably might need the help. Just somebody standing by, document stuff, whatever.
All right. You make your written request. I need to advise you, you have a right to a speedy public trial by jury in this county. You have the right to face all witnesses against you, see their question and cross-examine those witnesses. You have the right to have witnesses brought into court to testify on your behalf, and at your request, the court will issue subpoenas requiring those.
Yo, I was literally thinking about that. Paman Dilv? Paman? She says, yeah, she's Daryl Brooks Jr.
Individuals to come into court to testify.
She went to the school of Daryl Brooks, the Daryl Brooks School of Law. Bro.
Great evidence in. You have the right to have the state prove you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. You have the right to remain silent. You cannot be required to give any testimony or make any statements against yourself to anyone. You do have the right to be heard in your own defense at any hearing or trial concerning the charges against you. Anything you say, however, may be used against you. Do you have any questions concerning your rights?
No, I do not.
Okay. Then I will set this matter for a pretrial conference on the 25th day of April at 9 a.m. A trial date of the 6th day of August of this year at 8:30 a.m. and an omnibus date of June the 15th. Do you have any questions at all?
No, I do not have any questions.
All right. You'll sign this reappearance slip. We'll discuss the issue of bond.
Oh, I guess there's a bunch of people like taking pictures. And...
Ms. Hunt, what's the state's position?
Yes, Your Honor. Given the gravity of this case, first of all, I would like for you just to take judicial notice of the probable cause affidavit that the state filed in support of these 3 charges, which resulted in the arrest warrant. I'd also like to bring to the judge's attention that it's almost a 2-year mark of officers locating this, at the time, unidentified little boy in the woods. So I would argue that the defendant has been a fugitive since that time. Her identification has been made. I think that raises any bond in a murder case to be something of the utmost importance and should be of an amount that should be very difficult, if not impractical, for her to be able to afford, or I feel she will be.
Bro, oh my God. What were the dates that just mentioned? Because I need to mark this in the calendar because this is going to be interesting. I thought I heard like June or I'm not bad at this stuff. Just see real quick.
Unidentified little boy in the woods. Filed and
Discuss the issue of bond. You'll sign this bond to the state of June the 15th.
June the 15th. What is it? Okay. Hold on. I'm not even kidding. We're logging this in. I don't know. June 15 is what?
A trial date of the 6th day of August.
6th day of August. August 6th. I guess this year, 2024.
Of this year at 8:30 a.m. and on to the state of June the 15th. Do you have any questions at all?
No, I do not have any questions.
Okay.
All right. You'll sign this reappearance slip.
I fast forward a little bit.
First of all, I would like for you just to take judicial notice of the probable cause affidavit that the state filed and
State's position.
3 charges which resulted in the arrest warrant. I'd also like to bring to the judge's attention that it's almost a 2-year mark of officers locating this, at the time, unidentified little boy in the woods. So I would argue that the defendant has been a fugitive
April
since
25th.
that time. Her identification has been made. I think that raises any bond in a murder case to be something of the utmost importance and should be of an amount that should be very difficult, if not impractical, for her to be able to afford. I feel she will be abscond from this court. She's never been from Indiana. She's not from Washington County, is my understanding. She was located in California. So on that reserve, I would leave that to the court. And if
Already
motions
objecting
needed on the state's behalf, I will make that.
Thank you,
Can I make
Ms. Anderson, you just made an objection.
Yes.
State the basis of your objection.
The basis of my objection is the fact that I am not a fugitive. I have been under NSA surveillance for the past 8 months. And how can that qualify me as a fugitive on the run when I've also had a detail from Space Force that was following my every move? When I contacted
Space Force. What?
And how can that qualify me as a fugitive on the run when I've also had a detail from Space Force that was following my every move? When I contacted the Indiana State to arrest me.
That is not a valid legal objection. If you want to represent yourself, you're going to have to learn the rules of evidence and the rules of procedure, because if you conduct yourself like this and make these types of objections, you have no chance in the world, baby.
Wow.
Okay.
So, objection overruled. But I will let you make argument in regards to bond.
Okay. Well, thank you. So that's my argument is that I have been under surveillance by
That judge is kind of like already over it.
NSA for over 8 months. I also have a detail that follows me everywhere I go from Space Force military. I also contacted Indiana State. I think it was a federal marshal that I called to have my location tracked to pick me up. So there's no type of extent of me running where I need this astronomical bond on my charges.
Well, that's sort of interesting, because it's my understanding Officer Busick has been in touch with almost every one of those agencies, and they haven't been able to identify your location until recently. So I'm going to set your bond at no bond at this particular point in time.
No bond.
If Space Force comes forward and tells me that they're willing to monitor you, we'll take up the issue of bond at a later time.
Okay.
Who's Space Force? What are they talking about? If Space Force comes forward, is he?
Sort of interesting, because it's my understanding Officer Busick has been in touch with almost every one of those agencies, and they haven't been able to identify your location until recently. So I'm going to set your bond at no bond at this particular point in time. That if Space Force comes forward and tells me that they're willing to monitor you, we'll take up the issue of bond at a later time.
So I don't know if she's talking about like the United States Space Force. I don't think they do that kind of stuff. It says the Space Force organizations trains and equips personnel in order to protect U.S. and allied interests in space and to provide space capabilities to joint forces. What the hell? The United States Space Force is the space service branch of the United Armed Forces along with the U.S. Air Force. It is a part of the Department of the Air Force led by the Secretary of Air Force. What the hell, bro?
Okay.
Anything else?
No, Your Honor.
All right, we'll be off record at 1:44. You can, she's remanded to the custody of the Washington County Sheriff's Department.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Wow. Wow, let's check this out.
Video tonight shows
Okay, let's see.
Yeah, those are those. Oh, good. 1 second. Go back on. All right. Based upon what I've just heard, I'm going to ask someone from the Public Defender Office to be assigned to represent Ms. Anderson. If she files a written request and demonstrates that she has the ability to understand and comprehend and represent herself, I may ask them to withdraw or no longer require their services, but I think it's appropriate that someone from the Public Defender Office be assigned at this particular point in time. If private counsel is hired, they can withdraw. We'll be off record.
Thank you.
So he doesn't seem like he's going to play that game of, because she says objection, you have to state why, but she went on a whole explanation of why she should have been given a high bond. Now, BL sent me this. Police arrest Cairo Jordan's mother 1 month before he was found dead in a suitcase. This was the chase.
It was Dejaune Anderson, Dawn Coleman, and Cairo Jordan in the hands of law enforcement just 1 month before the 5-year-old boy was found dead in a suitcase in southern Indiana. State police announced Dawn Coleman's arrest in October, charged with aiding in the boy's murder. Well, his mother, Dejaune Anderson, walks free. Police are still searching for the 37-year-old. They say she is responsible for Cairo's death, and tonight, for the first time, we're sharing a police chase, ending with Cairo in an officer's hands 1 month before he was found dead.
Wow.
On a blustery Saturday night in March, a South Carolina state trooper said this 2019 Dodge Challenger was going more than 30 miles over the speed limit. With sirens on, he chased for 30 miles until...
You think he ran out of gas?
They ran out of gas, and troopers used a pit maneuver.
Pit.
Eventually, the Challenger died.
Put your hands up!
They surrounded the car and repeatedly asked the driver, Dejaune Anderson, to open the doors.
We're gonna bust the glass!
When the doors finally opened, troopers took out Dawn Coleman first.
Hold on, there's a baby right there. I don't have nothing.
It was crazy. These people that they have no problem endangering their child. Well, now they're allegedly killed and murdered, but they have no problem endangering their child, putting them in all these crazy situations, and then the moment they're being held accountable and but I have a kid, that's a child. But you didn't say that the whole time you were going on a psychotic high-speed chase. Kind of like that the megachurch shooter, Joel Osteen, megachurch shooter. She brings her kid in there as a human shield, starts shooting at people. People start shooting back at her, and she, I have a child. Why the heck? Walking there with a child. And when that didn't work, and unfortunately, sadly, that child got shot, I think still alive, she starts making these claims that she got a bomb. They still shot her. She thought she didn't have a bomb. She thought that was going to scare them and make them stop shooting at her.
The troopers took out Dawn Coleman first.
Hold on, there's a baby right there. I don't have nothing.
Then they pulled out Dejaune Anderson. With the two in handcuffs, they turned to the 5-year-old in the back seat.
What's his name? Jordan?
Cairo Jordan.
Here, hold your jacket, okay? Back out. Let's try to get you out of here. Y'all just ran out of gas?
Yes, that's why we were trying to hurry up and
get to Georgia?
Yes.
All right, ma'am, you are under arrest, okay?
A trooper asks for the child's name again, and Dejaune tells him Cairo's name is Jason Jordan. Dawn Coleman says she's the child's aunt and can take care of him. The trooper makes a call and comes back with this.
I'm going to call Lieutenant. Okay. And see what you want to do with me. She's the sister. Just get the child.
And let's get the child Jason with you. Dang. And I don't think that's actually her sister. But I guess they were trying to, like, you know, be nice, do right. Oh man.
Jason. Yes. With you, and get him up to the 33 at a hotel for the night until y'all got.
Dejaune Anderson was charged with child endangerment and speeding.
Wow.
She paid her bail the next day, March.
Right out on the streets. Misty Odell, thank you for the message there. Says, this lady is crazy. My ex-husband did the same, or does the same shit. They're delusional as F and truly believe every word they're saying. These are the people we should all truly be afraid of. Oh, man. Crazy. As far as the father, so somebody, Murky Piglet, I think it's Piglet, put this in the chat on Discord and says, on October 25th, 2022, a man who identified himself as Cairo's father posted on Facebook that he had just learned of his son's death. The name on the account matches the name of the father identified by investigators and belonged to a man who lives in Atlanta, where Cairo was born. In the post, the man said he hadn't seen his son in 3 years and that his family had been searching for Cairo and Anderson. Wow. Crazy.
Okay.
You guys ready? Okay. Thank you all for coming. Go ahead. You need to. Found a brightly colored suitcase with the Las Vegas motif in a wooded area in rural Washington County on Holder Road. Cairo was 5 years old at the time of his death, and since that date, our detectives have worked tirelessly to bring justice to this case and justice for Cairo. In October of 2022, arrest warrants were issued for Dawn Coleman and Dejaune Anderson in relation to this case. October 26, 2022, Dawn Coleman was arrested and, as you're all aware, stood trial and was sentenced in November of last year. Earlier this week, Detective Matt Busick received information from a concerned citizen which started the path to physically locating Dejaune Anderson, the mother of Cairo Jordan. Acting on this information, Detective Busick worked hand in hand with ISP troopers who are assigned to the U.S. Marshals Task Force and with U.S. Marshals themselves. And working hand in hand with them, kept the U.S. Marshals abreast in California on the information that we were receiving and gathering. As a result of this information investigative work, these officers, investigators, apprehended Dejaune Anderson last night without incident in Arcadia, California. She was arrested on a warrant issued out of Washington County, Indiana, that was issued back in 2022. That warrant again was for murder, neglect of a dependent resulting in death, which is a level 1 felony, and obstruction of justice, which is a level 6 felony. She is currently being held at a Los Angeles Police Department detention center in Van Nuys, California. And as we speak, ISP Detective Busick and detectives from the Indiana State Police Post here in Sellersburg are actually en route at this time to California to continue this investigation. So, again, a huge milestone, a day that we're very happy that we've come to at this point.
Okay, that's kind of the gist of it. I haven't listened to this whole thing, but we went through the whole affidavit.
You say when?
When about did you receive
roughly earlier this week.
So we'll definitely keep an eye on this. I don't know if she's gonna actually be able to represent herself. She wants to, but or at least maybe I'll have a standby attorney. Chris Thorne Show, thank you so much for the 5, man. Says, yo, Mel, long time, my man. Good to see you. Still doing your thing. Keep up your good work. Thank you, man. I hope you're doing great. And last one, I promise, check Discord. Let's see. Oh, presser was held after the court appearance. Let's check it out.
You know, the type of
this is what I'm
individual
looking
we're
for.
dealing with today.
Here we go. Thank you.
It's going to be, I'm sure, some time before all this rolls around. We actually have the actual court hearing going on, but that'll be up for the prosecutor and the judge to decide. We're just happy that she's here and that we can step forward in this investigation and bring justice for Cairo.
I just want to join in Officer Hull's statement on behalf of the prosecutor's office as well as the local agencies involved. We are extremely happy that she's here. We're coming up on the 2-year anniversary of finding this little unidentified boy who was discarded in our woods in April of 2022. So it is nice to get this process started from the litigation standpoint. That's what we do. That's our job. And we accept that wholeheartedly. I would just like to thank, again, the state police, all the
Brandon in the chat says that the man who found the suitcase paid for Cairo's headstone and visits him often. No, I didn't know that. But the headstone.
detectives, there's been numerous, I can't even name all the names. Our local county, Washington County Sheriff's Department has been involved and assisted in transporting and investigations, all the way to multiple federal agencies that a lot of individuals don't even know exist, that we've had assistance from. And it's very nice to finally be at this point that she's here in Washington County.
What was your name, by the way?
My name is Tara Coates Hunt. I'm the prosecutor.
Could you spell it as well, just for our record?
Sure. Tara is T-A-R-A. Coates, C-O-A-T-S. Hunt is H-U-N-T.
You guys are a team of 3 on this case, is that right?
Correct. This is my chief deputy, Melissa Campbell, and then the lead detective was Matt Busick.
Can I ask if it surprised you, the reaction that the suspect gave when asked some of the questions from the judge?
I'll let those statements and videos speak for themselves. It's still an ongoing investigation of sorts. The litigation, of course, is still pending, so I'm not going to make any comments as to the defendant or what she may or may not have said or done.
Were you expecting pushback?
Every initial hearing could have pushback, so it's not unusual.
Tara, do you believe she's a sovereign citizen?
At this point in time, I do not know.
Detective, I know you were involved with the investigation from the beginning. Were you involved with the tracking, or were you in California when she was found?
We have tracked her to California when she.
The sovereign citizens, they don't really, they don't have to abide, according to them, I don't think, right? I don't know. They don't have to abide by the laws. They're kind of like, they don't belong to, what is a sovereign citizen? They're just above the law. They do whatever they want. So they don't want to stop. They don't want to have driver's licenses or anything like that. What is a sovereign citizen? They kind of just do whatever, whatever. I mean, from what I've seen, there's some crazy sovereign citizen videos. Yeah, sovereign citizens believes that the courts have no jurisdiction over people, and that the use of certain procedures, such as writing specific phrases on bills that they do not want to pay, and loopholes can make one immune to government and law regulations. So I guess according to them, you could kill somebody, and it's like, hey, well, I'm a sovereign citizen, so your laws don't apply to me. I mean, that's just how I'm interpreting it.
She's found. She's placed under arrest by the LAPD Fugitive Task Force, and then we went out to interview her.
Are you aware that she's under
or pay taxes? So maybe that's what these people. That's the perks of being a sovereign citizen. You can kill somebody and not pay taxes. I mean, not that they're not gonna come for you. Not that they're not gonna hold you accountable. But I guess for some people, that's what they feel. I guess or I don't know. Maybe if they're not born in a hospital, they like. Sometimes they have these births that are off the record. Maybe.
under any government surveillance?
Not that I'm aware of. No.
I'm not driving. I'm traveling type shit.
From your investigation, or maybe the prosecutor could address this as well, do you believe this woman is competent to stand trial for murder?
That is not an issue that we'll address publicly. That'll be something that will be handled in the courts, if at all.
I mean, if Daryl Brooks, they had him, I guess she can if she really wants to, but she's going to have to get the terminology down.
Any sense of how she stayed off the grid for a couple of years? Or what she's been doing?
No, I mean, there's no specific comment to that, except that she's been out of our grasp.
How was she located? How was she found?
Again, that's still part of like an investigative detail that I'm not going to produce here today in the media. That would be something that may or may not come out in a trial.
Who escorted her back to Washington County?
It's my understanding U.S. Marshals were involved in help transport, which is common when you have fugitives in other states. They work closely with our Washington County Sheriff's Department and the state police.
Would it be safe to say she's been uncooperative to this point, I guess? As far as information, telling you anything of any kind of substance?
I can't give you an answer specifically to what she has or has not done or said.
Specifically for the transporting, it was actually Indiana State Troopers who were assigned to the U.S. Marshals Fugitive Task Force that flew out to California and brought her back.
How ultimately was she found and taken into custody? Was there a tip? What happened eventually?
I think on that, as we said before at the prior press conference, we did receive information, which just information that allowed us to find out where she was, so we could eventually specifically locate her with the assistance of the U.S. Marshals and bring her back.
I have a question for the trooper. Could you step back to the mic, please? I remember that you were involved in this case from the very beginning, and I remember that you had pretty strong feelings about it. So how do you feel about the fact that she's been located?
Well, everybody here, and no more so than Detective Busick, has been involved in this from the very beginning. Everybody here, I believe, was there the initial evening of that investigation. So I'm probably the least involved as far as that's concerned. I don't want to take anything from these individuals. But obviously everybody here, we're a lot of strong feelings about this, especially if you're a parent, to think about all the facts of this case. It brings up strong emotions. So we're just very happy that she's here and that we can move forward. We're confident, I'm confident personally, that justice will be served in this case, and we just keep looking forward to that day.
Can you speak about how you feel how justice looks to you?
Well, justice will look at, I just want the courts to have their day, for the prosecutor and the judge and the defense to be able to do their thing. But I'm confident that if there's a jury in this case, that justice will be served.
Terry, can you address jurisdiction in terms of, you don't think this boy was killed in Washington County, do you? And so how do you bring a woman to trial for murder if the murder actually happened somewhere else?
Well, I'm not going to comment specifically on facts of the case, or especially the legal issues or conclusions that may be drawn. The legal analysis of jurisdiction or venue or things that people throw out there in the media or local communications is a lot more complicated than the average attorney even has to deal with on a daily basis. So we have filed a probable cause affidavit on behalf of the state. We're able to support those informations, the charges, and the arrest warrants. So that is what we are litigating, and we're litigating that here in Washington County.
Do you feel the weight of this case when you're sitting in that courtroom? I mean, we saw shirts. These are people that had no relationship to this boy at all. Do you feel that pressure when you sit there, and just how much this means?
I think as a prosecutor and my staff, we always feel the pressure of doing what's best for the community and getting justice for victims. This case, since the beginning, as some of you have mentioned, was extremely important. It became this little boy who, for the first few weeks, we did not even know who he was, became one of ours, as in the community. Washington County community is a great place with a lot of great people that stepped up and really took this little unknown child in, as far as arranging funeral services and burials and things that any little boy in that situation should have. And then, of course, once we were able to make identification through the work of the detectives and individuals involved, I think even more so, the community members then had a name, and he's still part of this community. So that's very important. Something small, rural area such as Washington County that a lot of people across the country have never been to or wouldn't even know where we're at. There's a lot of great people here, and they've really come together and take this case to heart.
Detective, you had said
that you tracked her to the point to where they took her into custody.
Yes.
It leads me to believe that, were you kind of on her trail at the time, or was this a surprise? And I'm sure you can't say everything, but at some point, will you let us know?
Yeah, sometime in the future I'll let you know.
We really can't speak on the specifics at this point, so that will come out, over time, the trial. A lot of facts will come out that you'll be available to see and see how it worked, but that's for the prosecutor and the courts to have that information at this time and let that come out through the process of the trial itself.
This might have been reported already, but is Dawn Coleman, who's pled guilty, is she expected to be somewhat of a star witness in this case? Is that the plan?
Litigation plans, I'm not going to really announce exactly who or what may appear or be a witness. That's something that we'll just have to see how the trial plays out. But that is, like we spoke before, was kind of this case has two phases in our minds. Phase one, we found Dawn Coleman first, or I say we, the police departments throughout found Dawn Coleman first. She was convicted and found guilty of conspiracy to commit murder and serving time in the Department of Corrections. So we're now at phase two, and we didn't know when that was going to start, and we're happy that it's come quickly in comparison to have Ms. Coleman's day in court just a few months ago at the end of the year. So that's where we're at now. We're in this phase two to get justice for Cairo now that we have found Ms. Anderson.
Matt, when you interviewed her in California, did she present similar answers as to what we saw today?
I don't think we can really speak at this time during what took place during the interview.
I think at this point, basically, we've covered all the things that we really can speak about. So we would love to be able to answer those questions. Again, that stuff will come out in court. So we need it to play out that way because that's the proper way for that to happen and not to speculate and make statements ahead of time. So we're just thankful, again, that she's here. And now this team can do the awesome work that they do and move forward towards prosecution. So that's all.
All right, so yeah, we'll keep an eye on that. Cairo Jordan. I mean, it's been I'm kind of shocked all this time, but I'm glad that we got an update now. But I mean, it's been a really long time. And I don't know. I guess this could be some form of mental health, but she seems to be very well functioning in the courtroom, and something wrong with her, something off for sure. But it's hard to say nowadays, man. There's people that probably try to use that to their advantage, commit some criminal act, and then like Letitia Stout. So it's so hard to tell now. But anyway, thank you guys so much for coming through. I just wanted to touch up on that, revisit, bump it up again, and hopefully Cairo will get some justice. We'll see with this lady in court. I don't know if they're gonna use that other lady to testify, or I don't know if I don't know. Crazy times we're in. But all right, guys, take care. If there's a chase or anything breaking, I will be back. Make sure you subscribe to the second channel. Make it must-see. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on too. Stories going on. I have to get to updating some other stories. So, all right, take care. Love you guys. Bye. Bloop, bloop.